In this video, I'm going to be talking about the new moon in Libra coming up on September 25th, 2022. So this new moon is going to be the first new moon of the fall season. And so we're coming into this new, not astrological season, but the sun is shifting. So we're in Virgo, the land of details and organization and getting things right and having an efficient system and making sure that we're humbly serving and giving to this new land of diplomacy and beauty and harmony and relationships and being in tandem, with the other. A very common, very important symbol for Libra would be the bicycle built for two, and I have a little short on that that you can watch on YouTube and on TikTok as well about the metaphor Libra and a bicycle built for two. That you're going through the countryside around beautiful scenery in the forest, and you're sharing that experience with another person instead of only having that all to yourself, because the opposite sign to Libra is Aries, and it's very much about self-assertion, drive, going your own way, carving out your own path and not waiting around for anyone else to join you, but really having the guts and the stamina and determination to be, self-righteous in your own way and, accomplish your own goals. So that's Aries. And we'll talk about that more when we get to around, hopefully, when we get to around the full moon in Aries. I may talk about that more. Full moons really bring things to light, really, culminate things and end things, and it can be a wonderful time of release, of surrender, of letting go. But now we're starting again at the very, beginning. And I'm thinking now of the song from, A Sound of Music. Let's start at the very beginning, the do, re, mi. And Julie Andrews is a Libra sun herself. So at the time of this new moon, tis, the season of Julie Andrews, tis the season of all Libras. Now it's time to come out, and it is their shining time, in a way I like to call it, when the sun's passing through your own sun sign. It's your birthday time again. And so, I have my moon, emotions and how I nurture and how I need to feel nurtured. I have, Luna, the moon, in Libra. So that's who I, truly am, that I can truly, drop into. Um, and so it's that feminine part of me, and indeed Libra is a very feminine sign. And so I was, born under a full moon with my, moon, one of the three elements of the astrological, trio. You have your sun, moon, and rising. I kind of put those together. My moon in Libra, opposite my sun in Aries. So, with this, you're looking at 2 degrees of Libra and where that falls in, your natal chart, that area of life and that planet and that sign and its meanings and symbolism and themes could be very, could really contain importance at this time, and could be, like you're hitting the reset button. Because that's really, what a new moon is, an invitation. When the sun conjuncts moon, you can go inside yourself emotionally and hit the reset button, start again, in a way with a fresh new, like a clean slate. That's the new moon. And so with the new moon in Libra, bringing yourself into balance and bringing your life into balance are very big things at this time. Where are you, overdoing stuff? Maybe you'll, notice, maybe I'm overeating, oversleeping, drinking, even over working, giving in too much to their partner. I'm obsessing about this little detail and this thing that I want and this, feature and plan that I have for the future, that I'm not thinking about this present moment. And, Libra is obviously symbolized by the scales. So you can divide the scales into two, separate pans, where you have one pan which is, if you're thinking about relationship, which is the area of life that Libra rules, since it rules the seventh house. One pan is you, the other person's, the other pan is the other person. So, finding that middle way and really finding the heart and the golden center and that sweet spot between the two sides and the two extremes. And, looking at, not overdoing this, not putting, so many of my, not putting all my eggs in one basket, but, distributing them to, some are in this basket, another one is this in this basket. And I'm managing these two priorities in my life, equally, placing even, distribution of my attention on these two things and accomplishing them side by side, where it's both, both gets, done, checked off the list. And, where, this idea of balance is very important, harmonizing with the people around you. Not, fighting and being all combative and, defensive and, the whole mindset of I'm right, you're wrong, and, arguing, I don't believe in this, and, very passionate and, loud and fiery, fierce, all these things, but finding, the heart in what they're saying, the meaning in what they're saying, and really where they're coming from and their perspective, seeing eye to eye, taking that in. And, when you take that in, that information in, and consider that and allow it to sort of steep and settle into you, where both points are, acknowledged, where one person can speak, and that, that timer is flipped one way, and then, that other person listens, and then you flip it around, and then you, have vice versa, so that everyone gets a fair chance to, say what they think, and then hear out what everyone is thinking, so that a compromise can be formed, a decision, game plan, a just an agreement and peace, and, kind of pulling the team together, because teamwork is the dream work, and really Libra really has to do with sharing instead of hoarding, like I'm pulling in all these resources and they're mine, and, it's my way or the highway, and I want this, and I want to see this way, and I, want this car, it has to be this color, and, what I say goes. that's not Libra. It's really, knowing and being aware and, being open to the fact that it's important to relate because we can really, see and know ourselves better through the relationship with somebody else. And life really carries a whole lot of um, profound um, meaning with relationships. And you can't really have your life without relationships. In a way, all areas of life deals with relationships in one way or another, be it to people, be it to content, books, nature, all those things. When you were born, you immediately started a relationship with your parents, with your mom and dad. And there's a really amazing astrologer by the name of Colin Bedell, whose work is really very much about compatibility and relationships and astrology. So you can check out his work. I may link to his stuff below. There's so much beauty in life. The forest, the flowers. Mother Nature, being open to the lighter sides and the just that vivid part of life as well, with Libra. And there's a warmth and a curiosity and an openness and an abundance and just a you know cozy, positive, upbeat, joyous feeling. I'm gonna splurting out all various adjectives because we are talking about Libra, and it is an air sign. And how are things refined and tuned perfectly and arranged in a certain way that makes it look appealing and presentable and also aesthetically pleasing to the eye. Labor, aesthetics, and do the colors match, etc. Collaboration, as well, partnerships. Sharing that time. And so, one of the other things as well is being the peace piper, or being the, and I should say, being the peacemaker in the midst of chaos. Like when there's a heated debate or, an argument, a divide, a war between two sides, we could come together in the situation. And be the diplomat, and maybe you're the one arguing with this person about this matter of life, and again, take in their perspective, seek out a peaceful solution, and find the common ground, and what will bring peace and connection and happiness at the end of the day. And the lawyers come out on the scene away because Libra sign deals a lot with lawyers, being very law and justice is an area with Libra. And and one final note about the new moon, dropping into calm, feeling at home with this new moon. Now, the aspect for this new moon is we have the moon opposite Jupiter. So the moon, we looked at as the feminine, how you feel, how you need to feel, your moods. It's not always, up in the head intellectual. And Jupiter is an expansion. It's your joy. It is luck and big wild energy that you can do it all. And imagine the possibilities. And there's so much to life. And let's go on a great adventure to explore it all. So, a question to maybe consider at this time is, are you contracting yourself, going into the small, narrowing the gap of your expansion? Or are you, going outwards, stretching your arms, shooting that arrow to a place where you'll go and retrieve it, and of course, seeing unseen territory while you're retrieving that arrow, and then kind of that's how I want to draw that line. But you know Jupiter deals with philosophy of life, your outlook on life, and how optimistic and giddy it may be. And learning more, growing more, sort of I want to say putting new information, but not necessarily information, but wisdom, the value and the experience and the heart from what you're learning into yourself and into your files of your mind and your soul and heart. And so it is about that. And so Moon opposite Jupiter can bring big emotions. You may be feeling like wow, I have these feelings, and I really and there may be this calling to get out and express them and not stay small and not bottle them in and repress the feelings, where it's sociable with Jupiter. Why not be extroverted? Why not express myself? Why not think of this new idea and go for it? With Moon opposite Jupiter, could be calling for curiosity of learning new things and for freeing yourself from any constraint in your life. The downside to this is addiction and going over the top of being addicted to maybe it was a substance or a food or a or just sitting and scrolling through TikTok, watching YouTube videos, and not putting your mind where it needs to be and focusing on a concrete and productive task like sweeping the floor and doing the work, looking at grading essays for your class if you're professor, or finishing stuff up that you need to do for your job that's important, and then it's a deadline that has to be put. As I said, like when I say something has to be put, it has to be in place and done, and that has to happen. Basically, that's my little line for that. So not forgetting about the practicality and the and your responsibilities, balancing things out, drawing the lines, turning the turning finding the off button to that energy, and and using it, and not being small, but then not going over the top and maybe oversharing or over indulging, eating too much, you know, reading too much into this, binge watching, Netflix or this show and getting so absorbed into these issues. So there's this happy-go-lucky, this, you could be feeling this happy-go-lucky. It's a great opportunity to feel that and give yourself permission to feel it. Throw a party, go for it. If you want to. There's themes of excitement and curiosity. Jupiter is about, learning something new. And, you know, and, there's a much more positive and lighter feeling with this. There could be a lightness, there could be, a lifting up in a way. It's not as heavy and, deep and quiet as, say the moon is Scorpio and moon conjunct, moon, conjunct or making aspects to Pluto. And so this new moon, fresh start, fresh new season, go for it, but, know when too much is too much, control yourself, and I wish you all a really wonderful new moon in Libra. Ciao.